Hi, everybody. It's Sasha with Every Day She's Sparkling. I just thought I'd pop on and wanted to give you some navigation tips and talk about the new Gutenberg editor for WordPress. So it just rolled out a couple of days ago here on December 6th. And I know a lot of people are really hesitant to change from their classic mode to use it. Just want to show how easy it is to use Gutenberg and the block editor system. So it's really quite a simple interface. It's basically based on a drag and drop system, which is really great for visual editing. We'll start here with, I just want to go over a few things in navigation and how it works. So it looks the same as the classic editor, except for that you see these big blocks here where you're adding your titles. So we'll start on the far left here, and this is where you're going to actually add your blocks. And it starts off with the most used, and then there's Jetpack I have as part of my WordPress, so that's one of the block categories. Common blocks, formatting, layout, widgets, embeds. These are a couple other ones. I'm going to get into that in a different video. Yoast structured data blocks, again, if you have the Yoast plugin, that'll be there. And then reusable blocks. So most of these are part of the regular block system. You can search for a block from here, and this is how you add it, but I'll show you that in a couple of seconds here. This is an undo feature here, undo and redo. So if you make a mistake, you can quickly toggle back and forth. I'm going to write just a little bit. Let's do that. Just so I can show you, sorry, what these other things do here. So this is like where you're going to add your title. Obviously, it says right to do that. So here, this little I with the dot in it, it's got your content structure. And it's actually going to show the number of words that you have. So it's just counting content, the number of headings I have, the number of paragraphs, and the number of blocks. So you can quickly at a glance see how many words you had. Now, if I had this as a heading, it's going to add this in as a heading. So it's got my title and my heading too. So what's really nice about that is you can get a quick idea of what your outline looks like if you've used your headings properly, and you can also go back to make sure that you've used your keywords in your headings, which is really nice. This next one here is for block navigation. I only have just one heading, so it's easy, but if you had a long list of headings and paragraphs, they would be listed here. So you can actually double click on it quick and it'll take you right to your content. So you don't have to scroll through all of your content if that's what you have. So that's on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, way over here in the three dots, these vertical dots, you have some viewing options and editor options. Again, I have a plugin, so it's showing that here. Some tools for managing your reusable blocks. I'll show what reusable blocks are in a different video. Some keyboard shortcuts, copying all the content from your post. And that's actually kind of new because when it first rolled out as a plugin, it didn't have that. And then some generic options, so you can say what you want to include here. And some of these features were available in the classic mode as well. So what I want to show you is in the view, so you'll see here above my content, I've got these options here, what I want to make it. I can change this back to a paragraph here, and it's got some alignment options, some other things you can duplicate, insert, edit. But also over here, you have an option to put that little menu up here in the heading. Now, I choose to keep it, I like it here. So I like it to follow along with me, so I'm not having to go back to the top. So I keep it there. You can also spotlight mode. So if you had a bunch of paragraphs and you're working within one particular block, then this one would be just highlighted. So you're not getting distracted by the other stuff. I just leave it all on myself. And then the other option is full screen mode. So it takes out the sidebar. So you're working with like no distractions. You can actually X this off, and then you've just got an entire page to work with, which is maybe sometimes nice for some of you. I don't mind that. So I always keep these things on all the time. There's obviously the blocks are the visual editor. Code editor is actually, so you can still manipulate the code within the blocks. That's not a problem. You just change it here, and then you can go ahead and have code. So that's still available for a lot of people if you're comfortable doing that. I'll talk about managing your reusable blocks when I do that video. That's kind of a different thing. Again, we talked about copying all content, and if you want to learn keyboard shortcuts for everything, it's going to show you here, which just comes in handy for speed. So that's pretty much all of the actual navigation. I want to show you how to go ahead and add a new block. So there's a couple different ways. I'll just delete this block. So when you first start out, you have this, and you can add a new block here with this plus sign. You can add a new block here with this plus sign. Either or works. So when you click on it, you can either search for a block or you can choose a block that you're actually going to use. Most times you're going to use a heading. Let's say if you actually press enter after you've got it, it automatically defaults to a paragraph block. So you can just go ahead and use paragraph and type away, and as you press enter, it's going to give you a new paragraph. You can change your block sometimes, depending on the block type. So you can see as a paragraph, these are the ones that I can change it to. It sometimes limits that. If you find you can't get the options that you're looking for, if you are a heading, it also limits there. You can choose the type of heading you have here, and you can only choose these three formatting options. So sometimes I have to actually go into this little 3 vertical dots on the top here, this menu, remove the block and start again if it's something that I wanted different. Say I wanted instead an image block. So the nice thing is here is this image block shows up, and you can actually just drag and drop your image right into here. Of course, you're going to have to go back into WordPress and set all of your content, your titles and your descriptions, your alt descriptions and those things, but you can quickly add it here. I mean, the options are pretty much limitless for what you're doing. In terms of once you're writing things, say, I mean, I often will write a whole bunch of stuff, and I often write from talk to texting. And then when I sort of get into it and start editing and formatting, I'll notice, hey, like I don't really like where that one is. So there's a couple different ways you can move stuff around. There's these arrows, so you can move your blocks. I'll name these just so you can see the difference. So you can move these blocks around, and it actually will follow you. So you can just keep clicking and clicking, clicking. But there's also, you can grab these little dots in between when the hand shows up. If you grab it, when the blue, I don't know if I have enough, there we go. See where this blue line shows up? When you let it go, that's where it's going to drop into. So now it created a block in between. These 3 at the end are actually your most recently used blocks. So it just shows them because you might have had been using a lot of headings or pictures or embeds or whatever you're doing. So that's really great. Another thing is, and I know people are nervous about switching from classic mode, and I know you can get a plugin that's going to keep you in classic mode until 2021, but you can actually choose one of the options within the blocks here. Now I have it in my recently used, but it's under formatting, and you can go to classic block. What's good about using the classic editor, some of the features or widgets or plugins that I have added in before aren't ready for Gutenberg. So this is an easy way. So here, well, this might be the only irritating thing. So sometimes I can't get to that. So I have to click off of it. So say if I want to click to tweet, I can do that. It's not Gutenberg compatible yet. I imagine it will be sometime in the future. But if I want to use it, I can still in the classic editor. I just have to go here. Or if I want to use my MailerLite forms, this is the easier way to do it because I don't see a simple way of doing it in Gutenberg yet. My pretty links. So a lot of the things that you were used to in the classic can be used, and you can mix a classic block within the regular Gutenberg blocks. So don't be afraid to try it because you can certainly use what you need to out of that. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. You just go along, create your posts. Viewing it is easy. It looks nice. It's an easy interface. And like I said, I like the feature that I can drag and drop things because sometimes what I intended to say doesn't go in exactly the right spot. So it's a really easy platform to use. And being that it's drag and drop works really well. So hope you found this information useful, and drop me a comment in my YouTube if you're watching it there to let me know how you found Gutenberg, if you're using it, and if you found anything that works best for you. All right, have a great day. Take care.